because I believe so much in the leadership and the ability of our coaching staff to develop young people into great leaders and unlock their potential, we want as many kids exposed to our coaches and our directors as possible. At the same time, it means we need more buses, we need more helmets, more uniforms, more training equipment, and so it creates budget concerns to make sure everybody has what they need. So it certainly creates some problems there. And one of the other things that really creates, and my coaches work awfully hard to overcome this and get creative with how they do things. There's always concern about coach-athlete contact in drill time, and if you got a team of 60 volleyball players at our freshman level, for example, and we split them into two teams of 25 to 30 kids, but now you got one coach trying to run 25 kids through drills, you worry about reps and things like that. So they really get creative to try to manage a lot of kids to get them as many reps as possible. An example of what my freshman volleyball coaches and sophomore volleyball coaches, because that's been a big group for us. Rather than have one practice with all 33 sophomore volleyball players, for example, for 2 hours, they'll split them into two groups, and they'll try to go 75 minutes with each one. And they figure they get, with a smaller group, and they get more reps and better quality reps and can get better one-on-one time, build better relationships with a smaller group. But it also means they might be willing to be there for a 3-hour time frame as a coach for a practice versus a 2-hour time frame. So they're willing to give a little extra time as a coach from a practice time to get them in smaller groups and still build relationships when we've got 33 kids out for sophomore volleyball. And across the board, my coaches are willing to do that type of thing. So it creates challenges, but we're also getting more and more of our students involved in our programs, which means we're having a bigger influence on more kids.
We've got everyone on board. So our particular district offers, like 2 freshmen. That's just the way the schedule's built. Everybody has 2 freshman teams. Our particular coaches go above and beyond, and it's not something that I've laid out and said, this is the expectation. They just know that what's right and what's best for kids, and so they go above and beyond, and they find those reserve matches, and they set them up. They will even ref them. We just make sure everyone has a uniform, and then the coaches, like I said, they just do an outstanding job of ensuring that everyone has adequate playing time. It's not even, and we talk about that in our spring meetings with our families. It's not even, but we give our athletes an opportunity to compete with the Kennedy jersey on, and it's special. When you walk into our practice, it's crazy. Some coaches are like, it's overwhelming. There are like 200 kids, it feels like, but there's a lot of energy, and we try to keep pushing it so it's a positive energy.
Yeah, it's created a challenge, particularly with practices. There's a large number, and for baseball in particular, we have 28, 30, 32 guys come out for baseball, and it makes it challenging to you get the repetitions that you'd like to see your frontline guys get to be prepared for varsity level competition. And so when you've got 28 to 32 juniors and seniors, that can be challenging to get the reps that you'd like to see your varsity caliber athletes get, and to try and somehow balance that out with a developmental approach for your younger players too.
We don't put a kid on our roster unless we know we're going to play him that day. So we may carry 16, 17 on varsity, and then we know we're going to play 16, 17 players. It's less stressful. Kids aren't missing classes to do nothing. And then like my first year, we took 22 to the state tournament. We played 22 every game. And one of the successes of that year was we took a kid who'd been on JV who we actually talked into playing in the state tournament with the varsity group. And first game out, she got 6 stitches over her eye. She got head-to-head collision. The next game out, we won 1-0. It was her goal. So here's the second goal of her varsity career, or second game of her varsity career, and she scores a goal out of it. So we're pretty fortunate with the kids that understand their role. We don't preach winning. We preach, being together, getting better each day, but we don't ever preach winning. And I think that's a big success in the no-cut world. If you just focus on winning and whatnot as a coach, you're leaving kids behind. So and then that, like I said, the idea of them coming on a bus trip, they know they're going to play. Whether it be varsity, JV1, or JV2, all three levels have the same theory, if you will.
You know, we generally have the biggest squads in Eastern Iowa, if not the state. Right now we have 78 football players at the varsity level. There's a school right across the, well, our two sister schools in our district, I believe, have like 41 and 37. So for us to have 78 kids, I think it speaks less about wins and losses and more about the culture that is created, about being involved. It's about doing something outside of school hours, being involved in an activity. We really press upon the kids that if you're involved in some sort of activity outside of school, your grades are going to be better, generally speaking. For our football program, we get a grade update sheet every couple of weeks on where our kids stand in all of their classes. So if we see a D or an F, it's flagged immediately, and we can talk to that student athlete and get them to focus more on the academic side of it. And that's been really beneficial to us in keeping our kids, on the straight and narrow in the classroom, because that's why we're here. Yeah. We're here to get an education, but we're also here to have fun and experience high school life, and extracurricular is a great vehicle for that.